Good morning and happy Canada Day, and to my American friends, an early happy Independence Day. I know you'll be celebrating that soon. Here at the field, and with the new GoPro 9 with the media mod, so I can finally add sound, add speech while I'm flying, so that's going to be super cool. It's a little bit, well, it was a little bit foggy, and it's just lifting now. I don't know if you can see versus the flagpole there. The clouds drifting by as they're raising up from the ground. But we're going to try and get up this morning, get a flight in, test out the new mic setup, and talk to you guys in the air. So I'm going to get set up here. Got the old Atom 80, SEMA power. Grass is a little bit wet, so gonna set the wing up a little bit late, so it's not sitting on the ground getting wet, because I find this wing very hard to get off the ground. And the wind is a little bit, little tiny bit gusty. Picking up, slows down. I don't know if you can make out the corn, probably not. Blowing in the wind. It's a nice gentle breeze if it stays consistent, but it seems to be going up and down. And this field is not the best when the winds are out of the north. The trees are right there, so some rotor always on takeoff. So not the most fun to take off from. But anyway, enough talking on the ground. Let's get set up and I'll see you in the air. Well, it's not looking very good. I don't know if you can see it. There's the windsock. It's been up, it's been down, it's been going one way, it's been going the other. And it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and historically it does not get lighter. The winds do not slow down. They usually pick up, and there's the actual windsock for the airfield. I find it a little bit heavier than the windsock I use. This one seems to be more sensitive, but it's just dancing around. The corn is dancing, and a little bummed, but I'd rather be safe on the ground than up in the air, wishing I was on the ground. And with those trees right there, the rotor that comes off of them, it makes for some interesting takeoffs when the wind is out of the north. So I will not be able to try the new GoPro out. I was getting really excited to hear what the sound would sound like coming from my mic that I wired up. But maybe we can talk about that just for a little bit before I start heading home, because I don't think it's going to get any better. The cloud layer, starting to see some holes. Let's get maybe away from the sun for better lighting. Yeah, you can see there's some blue there, but oh, maybe I'll wait a little bit longer. But it's not supposed to get any better. But I got nothing else to do. It's Canada Day. Nothing going on today. Just relaxing. I was hoping to get some flying in, but yeah, we'll talk about the new camera and mic setup. Okay, moved on over to the car and broke out the helmet. GoPro 9 Hero Black Edition. The original camera that my wife got me when we decided that I would get into paramotoring and maybe start a YouTube channel, was to get me a camera and start filming. Well, she, for Christmas one year, got me the GoPro Hero 7 Silver, which I didn't know anything about GoPros at the time. She didn't know anything about GoPros. I didn't know that you couldn't hook up an auxiliary mic. So if you're gonna fly, paramotor, and vlog, you kind of need a mic to talk to people. So I got a whole bunch of video of me flying around, and it's great video. It just, there's no talking in the air. I mean, you can hear me shout every once in a while, but for content, it's not that great. You want to be able to talk. So in comes the GoPro Hero 9 Black, which I love because it has this screen in the front, so I can see exactly where I'm filming and what the camera lens is seeing. So here's the helmet right there. It's a Navcom, carbon fiber, radio. You can talk to aviation radio, all the bands. I have a radio that connects into it. Push to talk is on the side, and what I needed to do though was I picked up a lapel mic right here, and I just wired it around, extra wires, and then it's going to connect around and connects into the GoPro media mod that I also got for this camera. So I don't know how it's going to sound. Just tucked it into the foam to help protect from the wind. It sounds great on the ground, but I need to get some wind flowing over the mic to see if it actually sounds decent. But like I said, on the ground sounds great. Sounds just as almost as good as the mic here, which the screen just shut off. Oh, there we go. Okay. I guess the screens time out when you're flying, which is good to know. So when I'm flying around, it's not using up as much battery. Because I noticed that the battery on this does seem to drain a lot faster than on my silver. I could be up on the GoPro Hero 7 for a couple hours, and that's even in the winter time, and the battery was still running. So that was pretty good. I was pretty impressed with that. But we'll see how these goes. We'll see how this goes with this new one. And what I like about this one too is that it has a battery that you can pop out. So if I do get low, I can pop one in. So I'll be picking up one of those. Also need to be picking up one of those sticks to hold the GoPro. Right now I'm just, let's see if I can get it in the reflection. Just holding it by what it connects to the helmet with. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but hey, it does the job. So this is the field that I fly at. It's a glider club, and the owner of the field is a retired Air Canada captain. And one day I just popped by because I was doing some looking on and searching on Google Earth. Saw this field, thought I'd pop out, do a little bit of internet research. Discovered he was an Air Canada pilot at one point, and asked him if I could use the field. And he said no problem. And it's been great. It's a pretty decent location, not too many homes around, so when flying it's not and departing it's not bothering anybody, which is one of the big concerns I have. It is a privilege to fly one of these guys, and I don't want to irritate the neighbors and get things closed down or have any laws changed because of me or anybody else for that matter. But also one of the reasons why I chose the Atom 80, because it is so quiet. It's so quiet actually that the owner's wife here thought I went down because I was flying, and I departed and went down over behind these trees on purpose, of course, and she couldn't hear me anymore. I mean, it's quiet in the first place, but once I went below the trees, no sound. So she came out and was trying to look for me, and then maybe 10 minutes later, after I went for a little journey to the north there and came back, she saw me pop up and was relieved. She was standing here by my car, all nervous. But anyway, we were talking about the camera. So yeah, so far liking it. Haven't done any editing with the videos that I've made. So this might be the first video that comes out, and then I'll go retro and go through the older videos. The older videos do have some commentary like this, but like I said, in the air, no mic, so maybe we'll just put some background music in there. I was saying that I do love this Atom 80. It's light on the Maverick Parajet frame, of course. The whole system is light, strong. I've had a couple bumpy landings, air dropping out from under me and dropping me to the ground. In fact, that leads me into what I was going to talk about next. I had one of those flights. I was coming in just over here, and at the last moment, I got the gust that I guess I was in dropped me to the ground, and I ended up catching the edge just of the cornfield there. So thankfully, softer overturned dirt, and let's back up a little bit. I'm right in the camera. Dropped me into the dirt, and I ended up thinking like the dirt went right through here and into the prop, and I got, it's probably too small to see, but a nick on each side of the propeller. So nothing significant, but you know what, you want to keep things pristine, and you probably wouldn't even see it unless I pointed it out or someone was looking closely, but there is a small nick out of it. Nothing structural, just cosmetic, but it bothers me. So I picked up some Cubon, see if I can just fill that in, make it look a little bit more pretty. But I don't know if I want to mess with the balancing either. Anyway, when I did come down, hard on my feet. Was able to stand up for most of it, but went down on the side, and my throttle hand, which I like to fly on the right hand side. And I guess inside here, the little kill switch wires, let's see, there we go. They run through this sheathing here, the sleeve. I guess I pinched them or something. Anyway, they ended up snapping right there. And I lost my kill switch. And that's not the first time those wires have broken. They also broke up around here too, just from vibration, I assume. So I had to fix it, and that's why this wire is thicker and different. So really a much more substantial grade or gauge of wire. And now I ended up doing the same for the whole kill switch line and wiring it so that hopefully it doesn't break again. So the only part of the kill switch system now that has the original wiring is just inside here. They're soldered together. No, I didn't think it would be necessary to film that, just replacing the wire. Now I could, this sleeve, the sheathing is really tight. It was actually super hard to get the old wiring out because it was snapped right in there, so there's no point in having it in there. And for the sake of, you know, a little bit of weight, I took it out and replaced it with this. But there's no way I would be able to get this new wire into that sleeve. I tried a little bit trying to get into the little hole they have here, and I don't know how they do it, but I could not get it in. So I'm thinking they can buy these sleeves in different widths. I think this is probably 1/4 inch. So I might pick up a 3/8 or even a 1/2 inch and run it again, just to keep the wires a little bit more protected. I use little O-rings to keep it secured, and had to re-secure this guy. They had black ties. I wish I had black ties. It looks a lot better, but the white do the same thing. And yeah, so if you're thinking about the Parajet Maverick, it does. I don't know about the Moster. Maybe its wires are a little bit more thick, but these ones were too thin. They broke naturally from vibration here. So that might be something you want to switch over before you start flying. And like I said, like my wrist was fine when I hit the ground. I didn't think it was that bad, but they did snap inside. And it took a while to actually find the break point. I was actually hoping it was broken back up there, but I kind of had a feeling it was here because of the landing. And you could not see from the outside any damage. Maybe it had a little bit of grass stain from where I touched, but the wires are so thin. Like it's the thinnest gauge wire I think you can use. And when you open it up, the copper inside is really thin. Like it doesn't take much to snap it. So a nice upgrade. Doesn't look as pretty. I think I did a pretty good job of making it look nice though. But yeah, there it is. That's the one thing about the Parajet Maverick that I would change. It might be an Atom 80 thing, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been around a Moster 185 enough to tell you what kind of wiring they have. I would assume it's the same. If you're using, I guess, this is a Polini throttle, which I don't mind. It's actually the one I used on training as well, when I had a mini top 80 for my training. So I wanted to stay with something familiar. The other two options were more like a trigger style. I didn't like it. It was a lot thicker, and my hands are not that big to start with. So I wanted something a little bit more comfortable. And this one's not too bad. In the wintertime, it with gloves on, it's okay. I'm sure there are better options out there. I'll try some in the future, but for now it's pretty decent. I like it. I like how the cable comes through the back. It just runs along your arm. Let's break that out there for a second. So I'm sure you've seen this in the past, but so the cable there runs along your arm. There's no kinks. Yeah. The mirror, thanks to Kyle O, great suggestion for putting that on there. You can check your fuel, check your GoPro, check anything. It's great there. And what I also did to the throttle too is so there's the mirror. on the flip side, put an old Iron Man watch on there for time. Just to, you know, keep track of things. Need to be down by a certain time, like to know how, you know, if I know I put an hour of fuel in there, keep track of how much has been burned off. So just flip it, and it's actually upside down when you're looking at it from this angle, but when you have it in your hand and flip it over, it's perfect. Thinking of putting a compass on there as well. I like to know the direction that I'm heading. Somehow getting my phone hooked up so that I can get some nav maps going and check them out while I'm flying. Not that I need them too much, but just nice to have these options. One other thing too, guys, about the Parajet Maverick. I noticed when I was, terrible camera work. Inside here there's a little weight, a filter that, there we go, filter in there. And mine actually in the fall, or was it the spring? Yeah, it was this past early spring. My engine was cutting out. I'd be flying and I go to give it full power and the engine went ball. And so I thought, well, I was definitely pulling air in the line. So I watched, you know, some videos online, and they thought maybe it was the primer bulb, which it was coming from there. But I secured everything. I replaced all the fuel lines. I tightened them down with clamps and zip ties, and still was getting the issue of air getting in the line and cutting out the engine. So the only thing left that I could think of was that the fuel filter was gummed up. And I run Shell 90, 91, 94, anyway, the high grade fuel. It shouldn't have had anything in it that was plugging up the filter. When I'm done flying, I empty this tank completely. And so maybe the drying out of the fuel on the filter did something, I don't know. But anyway, I went up back to my dealer who sold me this, and he's been great. Anytime I had an issue, no problem, fixed it, gets the parts, really easy to deal with. He's paragliding.ca. His name's Derek, and a great guy, easy to talk to, help you with anything. Yeah, good stuff. Check him out, paragliding.ca. He can get you your dewdeck wings as well, which don't fly just yet, but possibly in the future. And anyway, had the filter replaced with a slightly different one. It looks like more of a ceramic than the one that came with it. No issues so far. Now I haven't flown it as many hours as I did with the original filter, so we'll see. To be continued on that story. But anyway, that was another issue I had with it. Replaced all the lines, checked all the connections, changed out the primer bulb because we thought it was that. Actually, they thought it might be in the carburetor, but ended up obviously just being the filter. It got gummed up, and so wasn't able to pull the fuel through the line, so it tried to pull air through wherever it could. So yeah, if you ever have that issue, guys, change your filter. Another issue I had, and I don't know if it was just me, I maybe got a unit that got dropped, I don't know. Again, guys, I love this machine, awesome machine. But I did have an issue with the gearbox, and I did have, not at the beginning, for some reason, it just started spewing out gear oil, and you could see it come through and slide down the prop. Swapped it out, thought maybe the oil was bad, still had the same issue. And so again, my dealer, Derek from paragliding.ca, brought it to him. They swapped out the whole gearbox. Gearbox went back to either Parajet or Vitarazi, I don't know, to see what the issue was, but brand new one, no problems, installed it, and haven't had any issues since. Again, I don't think I've put in as many hours on this as prior to the problem. But the new one so far, nothing, looked dry as a bone, and I had not done anything to it. Like, I never dropped it or done anything weird to it. Basically doing whatever anybody else would do with their Parajet Maverick that's normal. But yeah, so another issue that I came across while I was flying this machine. One thing that I assumed, the mixture needles. I didn't think they'd want them to be touched. I thought they'd be set all ready from factory to be ready to go, but you know, it was kind of stupid of me to think that. I have a pilot background. I was airline rated at one point. Went to one of the top schools in North America, Sault College and Sault Ste. Marie, for aviation, and I did really well there. And it was kind of stupid of me to assume not to touch these. The air changes, the density, therefore the mixture is going to change, and they're tuning it way back over across the pond there to get it here. To assume that it would be ready to go was stupid of me. So I ran it the way it was, and it was running really, really rich. I had a bad, actually my first flight was from this field, and I couldn't keep it running. And I had to hold the throttle, and this me being a newbie, holding the throttle, trying to get the wing up in low winds, and the wing came tumbling down, and I had power on, and the lines came down in the prop, and I'm nicking a couple of lines in the prop. But don't assume that you're not going to be adjusting the mixture needle. You kind of have to. There's videos on there from Scout Paramotor, I think, does some, how to adjust it. Now they're talking about the motor, but it's pretty much the same idea. You know, it's just a couple of clicks. If you think about it, of the needle of it being a whole 60 minutes of an hour, it's like 1 or 2 minutes. So very, very little change needs to be done. You're not reaming on the thing one way or another. Just a little tiny bit, and what a difference, like getting it to run properly. And plus the plug was getting all gummed up with fuel and carbon. So keep an eye on that, guys. Don't assume that you're not going to adjust this needle. A little bit of a lesson. Hopefully that helps you guys figure things out and do better than I did my first couple of flights. Well, the morning dew is drying up. The grass seems pretty dry, but the wind is still kicking up. No wind, see, swinging one way, swinging the other, low, high. Here, let's get a different angle. Let's face the sun. But that's what I'm dealing with on Canada Day. The week of our great celebrations of Canada Day and Independence Day, guys. So it looks like I will not be flying, at least this morning. And tonight looks like a little bit of rain, so we'll see. The forecast never seems to stay the same from 1 hour to the next. Hopefully it can get better, but this is not safe for me, and I don't know about you guys, probably not safe for most of us. Wind shifting, and again, it has a lot to do with those trees over there. They may not seem close on the GoPro, but they're I'd say less than 200 feet away, between 100 and 200 feet. So it's not the greatest conditions for departing, and I can see the clouds just rushing by. Even if I did get up with my wing, it's not one of the fastest wings. I don't think I'd be going anywhere. Even though I really wanted to get up on Canada Day, it's not worth it. So we're gonna end it right here, guys. And happy Canada Day, everyone. And to our American neighbors, a little bit early, but if I don't get another video up, happy Independence Day. Guys, if you like the video, like it. Subscribe if you can. That'd be fantastic, helps the channel out. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.